he would have been further ahead than he is right now. But clearly, the amount of reps that he's getting, both in practice as well as in the games, is beneficial to him. You're starting to see it pay off. Second half of the game, he threw for over 220-plus yards, but things started to slow down for him. He started to understand what Pittsburgh was trying to do to him from a defensive standpoint, and you like to see that. They may not get out of this season with a winning record or a playoff bid or anything like that, but he will have grown from this, and that's okay. Whenever you, much like you said, Max, whenever you play a rookie quarterback, you're not really – you're expecting for him to continue to get better, but you're not expecting to go to the playoffs. You're not expecting to do a whole lot of things.
Can I tell you?
By the way, rookie quarterback, just so people know, has never taken a team to the Super Bowl, ever. Not even to the Super Bowl. So it's going to happen eventually.
Was that Marino's second year?
Yeah.
Was it his second year?
Yeah, that they got to the Super Bowl.
It wasn't his rookie year.
I'm almost sure of that, yeah.
You know what I felt like last night when I watched Justin play? That my rookie year, like the first 15, 20 games, it's like you're in traffic and traffic is going so damn fast that you can't really keep up with it. You're just like, wow, dudes are faster, stronger, longer than what I thought. You're still kind of getting, not enamored, but you see certain brand names that you paid attention to since you were coming into the league.
Stargazing.
And then you get to a certain point, and I remember for me it happened when I got a triple-double against Jason Kidd, where you start playing like, hold on, man. Like, I belong on the floor with this guy. Like, I'm not saying I'm better than this guy, but I believe I can compete and be with this dude. And last night felt like Justin Fields believed because the game didn't become bigger than him. You felt like he could own that moment. And that's a pressure that sometimes people fold under, and I watched him rise to that challenge. I think that speaks volumes about where he could be. But, Key, I go back to your point, and I agree with what Matt Nagy said. But I wonder where Justin could have been in this process if the ball had been handed to him earlier. There would have been a lot learning curves, but I go back to when Andy Dalton, QB1, just sticking with that, that's something that just constantly, as a Bears fan, sticks out in my mind about where we started this whole process.
Well, it's not even necessarily the fact that they started Andy Dalton. It's about the reps that he was getting in training camp, leading up into practice.
All of that.
So when you start to play more and understand things more, you see things clearer. When you are running the same play 15,000 times, that now you can just spit that out with no problem at all because you've seen it so many times. You know, okay, this is what I got to do. I got to hit my back foot. I got to let it rip, opposed to only getting a handful of reps leading into a game. Then all of a sudden you have to do it in a game. It's like, okay, this thing is moving very, very fast for me. But once it slows down, you see what you see in Justin Fields. He's just becoming a better quarterback. Moving forward, they certainly have one to keep. Now, what they've got to do as an organization, whether it's Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace or somebody else, whether it's Louis Riddick who goes there and takes over, I don't know. If they get rid of the dudes, whatever the case is, they've got to now surround him with the proper weapons to be successful. They've got to go spend the money on a guy, go find a receiver or two, to retain an Allen Robinson, get a back, get tight ends, whatever they got to do to put a team around him to be successful.
I got to tell you guys, I hear what you're saying, and the smart people nowadays are saying you should start him right away. I just disagree. I think that the way they handled it, you want to put your arms around a rookie quarterback because it's not about this year. Not really about this year is the learning year. So think about how Justin Fields looked in the very beginning, and they didn't help him enough in terms of scheming and all that stuff. But you get out of college, you're in the NFL now. So you get some reps with, the ones. Not maybe as many as everyone would like, but you get some reps. You wait a couple weeks holding the clipboard, watching, getting used to the speed.
It's fair.
This is like the on-ramp. This whole season from the beginning to the end is the prelude to next year. Next year, if he wasn't, I would agree, but it doesn't bother me. The way Nagy handled this doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't bother me to the point of no return. When I look at the team and how they've been fighting, I just feel like if he would have gotten some early reps in training camp and you'd have started him in the beginning of the season, he could have took the negative bumps early. So now at this point,
he'd be a little ahead.
He'll be a little ahead.
Or here's the danger, Jay. Here's the danger for me. Zach Wilson. Right? So forget about who has.
But the competition level that he had at Ohio State was drastically different than Zach Wilson at BYU.
I agree. I'm saying, like, the reason I bring it up is sometimes
He looks so much better than Zach
if you,
Wilson.
I'm not saying they're equivalent. I'm saying if you throw a kid to the wolves behind a bad offensive line, you can slow up the development. You don't want to start getting like, oh, you're going to blow the confidence. You want to give them some positive reinforcement. You want them to have some measures of success. I like the way that.
But it's all about how you built too, though, Max. And Justin Fields is not built where if things start to fall apart, that all of a sudden he gonna go tuck his head between his legs and go sit at the end of the bench.
Can I ask you guys a quick question?
That way.
So, and we were talking about this during the break. When you see, all right, 12 penalties for 115 yards, a lot of that fell on the defense. Key, does that signal to you? Is that a lack of discipline? I mean, look, at the beginning of the season, this was the oldest NFL roster, right? So it's not about guys not being veterans or understanding how to play. How much of that is a lack of discipline from the team and the coach about these are little things that kind of show, huge
That's
strides?
on the team. That's on the players. That ain't on the coach. The coach ain't out on the field. That's strictly on the players by not following with instructions on what the coach is teaching them and what they already know. No, you can never blame penalties on the coach. If you jump off sides, it ain't got nothing to do with the coach. That's you. That's your mental state of mind.
Key, let me ask, though, why does it seem like Belichick teams aren't often penalized very much? Doesn't that have to do with the fact that the coach ain't playing games?
They penalized. They're penalized.
I mean, there were two PI calls that led to Pittsburgh Steelers touchdowns. I mean, there's so many different.
But that's not Matt Nagy and the defensive coordinator out there creating that.
That's what I'm asking you. I hear you. That's what I'm asking you.
You know, when you say basketball, you say, well, my jumper's not falling. Well, that ain't on the damn
But that's
coach.
different than us having defensive cues that we get in the assignment that we're not competing,
Yeah, but
right?
if you grabbing a dude because you got beat, that's on you. That ain't on the coach. The coach ain't the one doing the grabbing.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.